Welcome to the Network Marketing Mindset Podcast, where you'll learn how to transform your mindset and achieve massive success in your network marketing business. Here's your host, business mindset coach, Deb Erickson.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's Deb Erickson. I'm so excited that you are joining me for another network marketing podcast for women and network marketing. Now, I've got an amazing guest today. Before I introduce her, I want to tell you a little bit more about her. Let's start with our normal shout out though before I introduce her. And let me just tell you this, if you haven't had a chance to review and rate us on Apple Podcasts, you want to go do that right now. So we'll do this little shout out. It says, I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners. Her name is Glee. So Glee said this, these podcasts are fabulous. Deb always has fabulous guests. Okay, that's you, Erin. Deb always has fabulous guests all day long. She's powerful, inspiring, challenging us in the most encouraging way. Her guests are proof that she and her guests both are rock stars in the network marketing community, changing the lives of women forever. Man, are you guys going to be excited because I have another real rock star for you today. I want to say thanks, Glee. I appreciate you listening. Those of you who haven't had a chance, make sure you run out immediately, follow the links, and rate and review specifically. Help us pick guests that are going to empower you, inspire you, and give you the tools, specifically the tools you need as women to radically up-level your network marketing business. All right, so let's talk about our guest. So imagine like the perfect guest, right? She would be somebody that's walked in your shoes. She would be somebody who's been through the struggles. She would be somebody who has overcome. She would be somebody who's climbed to the top of her company. She would be a best-selling author on Amazon. And she would be someone who could tell you what she's done. You know, I talk all the time about there are those leaders who are, I guess I would call them unconsciously competent, right? They are the ones that somehow they were just being them and they showed up and they were amazing. But let me just say this. It takes something really special for someone to be able to demonstrate to the world that she's walking the talk and also be able to lead and guide and walk alongside you. So today, I want to introduce Dr. Erin Pollinger, but most importantly, I want you to know about her that not only is she a massive success in her own right, in her own company, but she's written an amazing book. The book is entitled Network Marketing Queen. And I know a lot of people would love to meet and be a network marketing queen. So, Dr. Erin, would you come and join us and tell us a little bit about your background? I mean, kind of tell us the journey. How did you get where you are?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I head into that, I just want to say that Network Marketing Queen is definitely a book about you. Right? It's not about me being the queen. Yes, I love to own my network marketing queen, but the book is really about how I got there and inspiring you to do the same thing. So just want to make sure it's clear. It's not a story about me. Yes, my story is in there, but it's about serving you. So question again, how did I get where I am?
Yeah. Tell us the journey.
Yeah. So, gosh, many parts of the journey, and I'll just share a few snippets. So I'm a chiropractor of 21 years, love serving people and helping people feel more life, more freedom, more energy in their bodies from chiropractic, from alignment, from this modality that has blessed my life.
Yeah.
It's really been such an honor to be able to serve in that way for so long. I'm also a life coach. I support people around physical and financial freedom. I have a retreat center in Costa Rica that I run and own. And I'm also a mom of a beautiful daughter named Willow, who's 19. And now the lead female earner and third top earner in my amazing network marketing company. And, you know, how I got here, first the network marketing piece. loving my life, serving in a really high level, doing what I'm absolutely passionate about through coaching and chiropractic and retreats and workshops. I work with women and have for over 15 years with helping women become embodied and connect to a deeper place within them, which is what my book is all about, to support them to really own their power and create their most amazing lives. So I've been doing that as well. And when I turned 40, as blessed and incredible as my life was, sharing my gifts, serving others in a way that I found really fulfilling, I realized I didn't want to be working hour for dollar anymore. I didn't want to be attached to an office anymore. I wanted big impact. I wanted extraordinary, right? It was like I was already living pretty amazing, but I wanted extraordinary, extraordinary money, extraordinary energy, extraordinary service, extraordinary relationships, extraordinary community, travel, having impact from wherever I was in the world. I love to travel. And so I just started praying and asking how I was meant to live this life of freedom. I think freedom is a really key word for me that I use a lot. And shortly after I put out that prayer, and it was a daily prayer, I got introduced to my current network marketing company, my current and only, one and only that I've ever done. Yeah. Never did network marketing before. And I couldn't believe it was network marketing, but I knew that when I was introduced, that it was the answer to my prayer. I just knew. And I thought, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? This is network marketing and this is the answer to my prayer? You have got to be joking me. But I knew that it was, and I said yes. And from being a coach and all the work I've learned from, chiropractic and working with women and the power that I found within myself through all the modalities I've been blessed to have received, I knew that to be successful required a decision. And so I made that decision within my first couple of weeks of really understanding more deeply how it works and the product and all that. And I made the decision that I would be a top earner in the company. And I gave everything. Victory was the only option for me. I was so aligned, and I am so aligned with the mission, with the purpose, with the product, with the industry, that that just led me to magnetize and attract and build a really amazing team of incredible individuals. And that's kind of how I got where I am right now.
Wow. So talk to me for just a minute so everybody has a frame of reference. Do you mostly market online? Did you market face-to-face? I did it
completely old school. Me and technology are slowly becoming friends. But we definitely have not always been friends. And doing the online thing has not always been super easy and fun and energizing for me.
Yeah.
This is fun for me, talking to you, even though it's through Zoom and technology. And thank God that I'm tech savvy enough to be able to do this kind of thing. But this is where I get my juice.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that social media and online marketing can lead to this. So I'm starting to do more online stuff, but no, I've done it old school. I've done the in-homes. I've done the presentations. I travel to get to know my team and take them to dinner and lunch and learn who they are and meet their families. And I've done it old school. I really have. And now I recognize, especially with what we're in right now, that we all kind of have to get a little bit more, social media online savvy.
Yeah. So that we're about mindset, and let me just kind of give a frame of reference for everybody, is that to me, mindset is really understanding how to master, right? Master your core identity and your thoughts and the pictures, the stuff going through your head, and to manage your emotions so that you're holding yourself in that positive side of the emotional scale. And being able to take those two things and then apply it and move into action, right? To get yourself into motion. I just finished a survey of over 500 women in network marketing. And this is the amazing thing we discovered. 97% of the people, women, reported that the thing that stops them from moving into action at the level they really need to be in action is mindset. So it's the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the stuff going, and I wonder where you are with that. We were talking before and you said, hey, you just decide and you go. So how do you manage your mindset and master your emotions and keep yourself in positive action, even when, stuff comes up for you? Does it come up for you? Right? Does doubt and uncertainty and stuff come up for you?
Oh my God. Every day, every day. Yes, absolutely. And I love that question because I actually talk about this in my book because the subtitle, so the book is Network Marketing Queen, Your Guide to Creating Massive Success by Owning Your Feminine Power. And that's what you're talking about right now is that's that power that we need to really go out and take action and do the things that are required to hold and build a massively successful organization. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of power. And most people, I think, don't really know how to harness this power. And, mindset is such a key component to it, like you're pointing to. And in my book, I talk about, because I used to always tell people success is 80% mindset and 20% structures.
Right.
Now I say success is 40% what I call womb set, 40% mindset, and 20% structures. So this kind of helps us segue into the conversation of how I coach women and how I help women change their mindset. And it's through connecting with what I call womb space, connecting to a place in our bodies that most women are so deeply disconnected from. Our womb space is real, whether you have a womb or not. Most women have, well, not most, but a lot have had their wombs removed. And so but you have it anyway, because it's energetic and physical. And when we connect with this place, in my mind, and what I've learned over working with this, not technique, but with this body of work for so long, what I've noticed and what I know is that this is the portal to wisdom, to intuition, to pleasure, and to power. And we need all those things to build successfully.
The big four. Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah. So it's wisdom, intuition, pleasure, and power. And something about pleasure that I really want to talk about, because women can't build like men. Men go out and they have their to-do list and they go from action. They go from the how. It's like, oh, I want to be successful. Oh, I want to make $10,000 a month. How do I do that? Make the list, do the action. That's the masculine way. The feminine doesn't like to be in man mode. It doesn't like to be in the how, and it actually doesn't like to be in action first. The feminine, really how we move is it starts from a desire. We have to have a desire, a true desire, authentic desire of what we truly, truly want. Not from the should or the thinking of what we want, but what we truly want. And that also comes from connection to the womb space, because when we're connected here, we're connected more to our authentic desire. And then we water the seed. The desire is like the seed. And then we water that seed and we put, the food and the nourishment and the sun, which is the pleasure, right? So when women are in their pleasure through lying in the sun, through meditation, through yoga, through doing the womb space meditation, through dance, through, being with friends, there's a million ways we can get to our pleasure. This kind of allows the desire to amplify, and it opens our receiving channels to receive that desire. Now, this is really interesting. There's also a scientific component to pleasure, which is what I get off on because I'm a chiropractor. I'm a doctor. I love science. I love like the brain and how it works and all the pathways. I know a little bit of the womb space can sound a little like woo-woo, airy-fairy, but I'm from New York. I'm a nuts and bolts chick, right? I live on the West Coast, so I'm both, but I love the science. And so what the neuroscience of pleasure shows is that when you're in your pleasure, which is, again, the womb space is the portal to pleasure, it neurochemically changes the brain. It increases nitric oxide, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and creates this special synergy of things that actually rewires your brain and helps the pathways change so that you can be more assertive, more confident, more action-oriented, more goal-oriented, less afraid to show up as who you are, less afraid to stand in front of a room and do a presentation, less afraid to do an interview like this with someone that I've never met. It's the key. It's the missing component that I get so excited about, because it's not just working with the mental component. If you're disconnected from your body and your joy and your pleasure, it's a lot harder to change your mindset.
Right. Wow. Powerful stuff. So before we started the recording, you were talking about the neuroscience, accessing neuroscience really through the body. And this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
it's different. It's very different, right? It's kind of it's kind of revolutionary that women, when they come to my team and they see how I coach and I'm doing these, womb space connections and meditations and helping them getting their pleasure. I'm sure lots of people think I'm just batshit crazy, but I can tell you that this is how I have created my success.
right.
This is to me the number one missing key for women in their lives, and why so many women don't succeed at what they do.
Right. Well, and what's interesting, I think, is so many women have been taught that their desires, their pleasure points, their intuition, that these are all things that we should kind of put on the shelf. Yeah. In space of action plans and to-do lists. I agree with you 100% that there really is kind of a continuum, and there are men that live on much more of the female side of the space as far as following their intuition and listening to their heart and all of those kinds of things. So how do you help someone identify? And I'm just kind of leaning into this core why. How everybody's always talking about, you got to find your why. You got to find your core why. So how does intuition and this womb space, how does that lead into or connect with kind of our deep core passions and our why in the world? How does that all come together?
I love that. No one's ever asked me this question. I'm like, wow, I love that question. Because it's so true. I think it's so much harder to create something that's not genuine and real. And a lot of people have their why, but they kind of make it up from like what they think it should be or what culture or family or society has said it should be. And how womb space ties in is that, most women are so up in their head that they move from the mind, right? And the mind can play tricks. It can absolutely play tricks. And when you're connected to womb space, there's such a deep level of dropping in to the truth and the authenticity of who you are, why you're here, what your mission is, what your purpose is. Because my belief, after having worked with womb space for so many years, it is the place that doesn't lie. It just doesn't lie. Right. So when we're connected here, it's like, oh, wow. This is what I really want. And this is why I really want to have success. And this is really the why behind what drives me to reach out to people and share with people and build an organization and want to make money and want to be successful in the way that I want to be successful. It's more of a gateway to truth. And when something is true, it's more of a magnet. Mm-hmm. Right? It's more of a magnet, and the universe kind of responds to, oh, that is authentic. And so it's easier to align with it and to attract the things that are going to help that be created.
It's clearer too. When you talk about, it's like, yes, it heightens the vibration and the energy and the magnetism. But the other thing is, to me, is that there's clarity. It's still clear.
Yes.
One of my premier classes is a coaching class, a neuro coaching class. And I really created it out of years and years and years of people saying, I want to do what you do. How do you do what you do? Mm-hmm. And I spent such a long time, trying to get all of that on paper. Like, okay, first I do this, and then I do this. And then I realized that there's a big component piece that I'm always trying to teach other leaders is there's a component piece of you have to connect. You're calling it womb space, and I kind of call it heart, but you gotta connect internally and follow the inspiration, right? Follow your intuition, follow. And so as an example, in my coaching class, it's not a linear process. Do this and this and this and this, which so many success coaches do, right? More traditional coaching. But it's really kind of like, okay, you ask these open-ended discovery questions and then listen, read the energy, follow the path of the energy. When you ask somebody, what's your earliest memory of feeling disconnected? What's your earliest memory of this, whatever the feeling is we're moving through? And almost always they'll say something like, I have no idea why I'm saying this, but, and I always teach my coaches, that's critical. What they're doing is they connected and they saw a picture. They got a memory. They got some clarity about where to start this conversation. And I find that, in a world where we as women learn and we are taught a linear structure for everything, it's like we've lost track of this much more organic nature. I don't know about you, but I have a very organic creation process and organic, I get different pieces at different times and I just accept them. And I know the more it will come, clarity is on its way. And tell me how you create, how you coach.
Yeah. Well, I love what you said about listening. Like that is really a word that I'm using so much more as I coach my clients, my affiliates.
Right.
I coach. I'm a huge fan of apps of mindset and of retraining your mind through books and audios and everything like Feel Free to Prosper, what she talks about, and impregnating the subconscious by daily rituals. Yes, I'm a huge fan of that. Even more than that, now I'm coach, and not now. I mean, this is what I've been doing for 15 years with women, but bringing this into my network marketing company. I coach women to do womb space meditations every morning. It's what I do every morning. I connect with my womb space. There's a specific way that I do it. In my book, there's 6 audio meditations that you can get if you go to networkmarketingqueen.com. Those are free. And those really guide women through each piece of how to create. Because how to create, that's such a big question. And it's such a rich, juicy question. And everyone wants to know, what's the secret sauce to creating what I want in my life, right? And so the book really step by step goes through that. So just real quick, I'll do just a real quick nutshell of that.
Yeah.
First is feeling. And I love that you brought up the emotional component, because if we can't feel the pain, the suffering, the stuck, the frustration, all the things that come up through building a big organization, you're going to get triggered left, right, and center. And your deepest wounds and fears and, patterns that don't serve will come right up. Yeah. So we have to have tools to be able to deal with those things and to feel the depth of emotion.
Right.
That's how, first feeling. And when you connect with womb space, you get connected with a whole bunch of wounding, because the feminine has been wounded, whether you've been majorly abused or neglected or anything like that, or not. Your feminine essence has been wounded. We all have. Right. And a lot of that lives here in the womb space. And so when we connect with womb space, it can kind of be this portal to this huge amount of emotion.
Right.
So first have to be able to feel. And then after that, there's more energy to have the authentic desire. Then we sprinkle on the pleasure and the self-love, and we listen and we open and we receive. And then we come into our power. And then when we come into our power, we say yes to doing the things that are required, because we can't just sit at home and meditate all day and be in our pleasure and expect things to happen. Yes, magic will happen from that, but we've got to then harness the power that comes from that and go out and create and have conversations and show up fully and have concrete goals and make those goals a non-negotiable, right? And make ourselves unavailable to anything other than success.
Perfect. I just want to say to all our listeners, I know right now you're like, where do I get those free things? So don't worry, we're going to include that link in the show notes. So we'll make sure everybody can get access to it, because that is such an incredible gift to be able to walk, everybody individually through that process. I love that. I love everything you said about those six keys: the self-love and saying yes to the action and the authenticness and the desire. I mean, it's brilliant. So how do you think you came to all of this? I mean, I know you've been putting it into motion, you've been practicing it, but how do you explain where this came from?
Oh my gosh. So I've been so lucky to have been shown a path at a really young age. 19 years old is when I started chiropractic school. I graduated when I was 24.
Mm,
So really, blessed to have that path. And a lot of the wisdom in my book comes from what I've learned on that path of chiropractic. It's called Network Spinal Analysis, 12 Stages of Healing, Reorganizational Healing. And I talk about what's called the seasons of well-being. So learning that from a very young age, and then almost literally dying after I split up with the father of my child when she was 3. That was one of the biggest traumas of my life. Saying no to my family and that not working out. That is when I was at the low point of my life, when I got introduced to tantric dance, which is how I started connecting with the whole, what I now call womb space concept. And so really studying that for 17 years now. And then working with the coaches that I've been blessed to work with that have really helped me learn more about the feminine way of building. So it's really this kind of perfect storm of all the things that I've been I'm so grateful and so blessed to have learned,
wow.
kind of weaving it into my own body of work through the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's powerful. It's powerful. I would say my journey obviously is very different, but I can say that I really began my journey in high school. I had a high school basketball coach, right, who at the time really did save my life. At the time, I was a very troubled kiddo, and it opened up this whole space of understanding the power of our mind, the mind, body, soul connection, all of those pieces that were so influential and so necessary. So it's great to hear kind of the background of how all of this has come together. And like you, it's like I studied 20, 30 years, and all of a sudden it was kind of like, bam, came together with my particular body of work. So I love and I really respect the work and the study and the years and all that you've put into that.
Mm.
Tell me, I know people are going to want to get your book, and we'll make the link available so people can go get it. But tell me, like, one more big key to the book. In other words, I know you've given us, these 6 steps, but what is something else? What's one, if somebody said to you, what's the one most important key that someone can get from the book and apply it today and create a shift in their life? I want something that's applicable. I know you do too. So tell me what that is.
Absolutely. Well, more on a macrocosmic level, I want to name something that you mentioned earlier in the interview, which was about the internal connections. We have to have such solid internal landscape and internal connections with all the parts of us from the inside in order to build on the outside. So the internal connections lead to the external connections,
Right.
which is what the book really is all about. And I would say, there's so many pieces that when you read the book, you can connect to and put into action right away. But for this interview, I'd say, even in chapter 1, even right now in this moment, a real actionable step would just to put your hands on your womb space, which most women have no idea even exists, and just be curious. Just be curious, because it is a far out concept for many people. Like, how could me connecting with this lead to power, success? How the heck is that even real, right? For a lot of people.
Right.
But just be curious. There's a whole universe that lives in here. There's a whole entire universe that really is the key to your pleasure, to your power, to your feeling supported and resourced. For me, this is like my inner temple, my inner sanctuary, my inner source of endless energy, endless support. As a single mom who's done it alone for a lot of years,
Yeah.
I have had to learn how to internally resource, because I often didn't have the external support that I wanted. And so just being curious right now, like, what if me connecting with this place within me could literally change everything? And I think that listening and that curiosity is something that we don't have enough of in our lives.
Right.
So, for this podcast, that's something that women can take away immediately. And I believe just that will begin to change things.
Right. Right. What's next for you? What's the big vision? What's the next step? What do you want to see happen in the world for you, your team, your organization?
Yes. I would love to just keep going with what I'm doing with my network marketing business and organization. I'm really, my main focus is that right now, and building an amazing team and creating more leaders and really showing up to help other people be as successful as I have. Because if I'm just the only one with success and my team isn't experiencing success, that's not fun. And that's what I desire at all. So really helping leaders rise up, women and men. I also, once this whole situation is shifted, which I believe on the other side, nothing will be the same. But once we can travel again, really wanting to be down at my retreat center more in Costa Rica, and bringing women down to be on my land there. It's stunning with views of the valley and the ocean, and that's the top of a mountain. And there's no other spot that helps women really drop into their authentic feminine presence and pleasure and power than there. So I want to bring groups there and really dive more deeply into sharing what I share in my book with men and leaders. So that's a big, big thing in traveling. I really want to milk the juice out of life. I want to travel. I want to play. I want to climb mountains. I want to adventure. I want to, I want to serve. Of course, I want to keep continuing to serve on a high level. And I believe abundance isn't how much we have, it's how much we have to give. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I love talking about money, that I love receiving money, I love making money, resources me with the energy to be able to be more generous and to really make true change on the planet through all of the ways that inspire me. And that's something that's really important to me.
Powerful. All right, we have time for one more question. And I always end with this question, which is, if you had to do it all over again, right? Your company goes under, you have to start over for some reason, right? What is the one most important thing that you would focus on in order to start all over again? What's the one thing you would do in order to rebuild your network marketing business?
I would actually slow down even more. I would slow down even more. I would listen even more deeply. I would connect with everything I've been talking about with womb space and pleasure and desire even more, because I know that that's how you build. In the beginning of building my organization, I was in such man mode, and I was sick, I was exhausted, I was overwhelmed, and I almost gave up so many times. And I refuse to go back into that way of being. And so many women are sick and not fed, and they're not truly happy, and they're just not in their true energy and joy and radiance.
Right.
It's because they build in a way that is not sustainable. So I think I would put all that I've written in my book, everything we've talked about here, into a much deeper level of practice.
I love it. I love it. All right. Hey, thank you so much, Doc. I so appreciate your wisdom, and I cannot wait to get the book. I cannot wait to bring you back. I think you have such incredible perspective and tools that women in our industry desperately need. So we so appreciate your time and energy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to be with you today.
Good. I just want everybody to know that we will put all the information, the links, so that you can go straight to Amazon and buy her book, and also make sure that you get and use those free womb space meditations. That is.
Sorry, also, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I want everyone to know that I have a Facebook community called Network Marketing Queen, where I come on, I give tips. We do Zooms and Facebook Lives to help you really stay connected to the tools. So that's a tool as well.
Perfect. All right, my dear. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Until next time, guys, we'll see you again on Network Marketing Mindset Podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, Deb.
You've been listening to the Network Marketing Mindset Podcast with Deb Erickson. To learn more about Deb's business mindset coaching, classes, memberships, and leadership programs, visit us at ICANinstitute.com. And for free weekly tips and techniques to help you develop and grow your business, join our Facebook community today at facebook.com/groups/network marketing mindset with Deb.